Feed me. Feed me more. Feed me more.
Welcome to Feed Me More Nutrition Tuesday Live. I'm the big guy Ryback. Thank you guys for joining me. YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Instagram, and Twitch. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining. Another little health and fitness chat, supplements, nutrition, mindset, motivation, things of that nature. Hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. I had to take the day off with my shoulder after getting all the work done yesterday. It was, we broke up so much scar tissue. It was actually really a lot of trauma caused on all that in a good way. We really pushed the range of motion, and then I came home and did a lot of work, and we found that I got these medicine balls that are bigger than the softball, which I actually exploded two of them because I pumped them up so that they were firm enough and they can't handle the body weight on them. And two of them, the sides blew out of it. So, but I got these other therapy balls that aren't as hard as a softball, but they're breaking up even more scar tissue because we've broken up so much and got it where I can actually leverage on them a little better and push past the range of motion. So anyways, it was a lot yesterday. Just did 90 minutes on the elliptical today. No hard conditioning, just burned like 1,600 calories or something like that, 16 and change. And now some finish at BCAAs. I just got a big shipment in today. I Feed Me More Nutrition, and I got my caramel cookie, I So Hungry plant protein, so I'm super pumped on that. Tons of bottles of it. I'm not running out anytime soon. Thank you very much, guys. Good to see all of you. Joseph, yeah, I haven't had it in oatmeal yet. I used to do protein powders all the time in oatmeal. I don't eat oatmeal that often anymore. I used to eat it quite a bit. I always used to get that maple and brown sugar, the packets, and I used to eat those like crazy. And I don't even know what was in those, but I mean, it's been so long. That was many, many years ago. Yeah, well, you got to understand there was a good question over on Instagram. They said on the calories burned on the elliptical, one about 290 pounds, and I use it the max level 25 I'm already the intensity, and then I go at a decent speed. It's the way harder to go fast on that speed than it is if you're doing like level 10 or 11 or 8, where you can just fly, right? But I can move, and it works my legs really well, and go forward and back. And so, and it's easy now. I never thought when I was younger, I remember, and I just over the years kept increasing the intensity on it. And I could actually get a pretty good conditioning workout on an elliptical if I want. It's not the best, so it's great for joints, but you could actually push yourself fairly hard on there if you want. And but I've always been a fan of doing that on my days where I want to burn calories, but give myself a bit of a rest. My ankle's doing really well. I had them this Warrior massage gun on it last night. I do that every 2 or 3 days. Right before I go to bed, I run up to my therapy room and I put that gun on it for 15, 20 minutes. And really the feelings I'm getting in different areas now is places where I wasn't getting feeling before, and like the nerve. So I really think some cool stuff is going on with that. And I really feel like I'm going to get the function of my big toe back. those bioaccelerator stem cells. It's going to take time because the nerves have to they got to, whatever was the holdup, they have to grow into the big toe tendon essentially, for that to work. And so nerves are a very complicated thing. I think it's going to happen because the nerve function from where the injury, the trauma was from the two screws that were put in through the nerves incorrectly, it works about halfway down the leg. So it's already regenerated that far. So it can be done. It's just for whatever reason, whatever the holdup was on that bottom portion of the leg. And those stem cells are definitely going to help increase the growth rate of that. I think it's going to happen. So, but either way, like I feel great. My back feels great. Shoulder feels so much better. It's just a lot of work. I jump rope at least once a week. I'm really big on mixing up the conditioning with as many different things as possible to test myself, because you could be great at one form of conditioning and then you do something else, and it's a lot more difficult. So I always find having various different exercises, including upper body. Battle ropes, I think, are really, really cool. Battle ropes don't get you tired out, I feel, like things that involve the legs as much, but battle ropes do fatigue you, increase your heart rate, especially when you go really hard, but they tire out your arms and shoulders. And so upper body endurance is really key too. It's just total body conditioning. It's always done me really well in wrestling, where the wrestling matches and conditioning is never an issue. And I really contribute all of my success to conditioning. As you can see, we got a great human being in here. I do mix the complexity every once in a while with the wake up. It is a double whammy if you do that. You are getting a ton of pump ingredients. 9 grams of citrulline if you do that, over 2.2 grams of arginines, including all the betaine, the vanadil, the beetroot from the Pumplex. You're getting good to see you guys. Yeah, guys, with the wrestling stuff, they're gonna try. They're doing stuff with the what's it, the weekend poll, and I've already talked about it, which why we did that. I can't. It's We're dealing with a level of intelligence that I can't even like. It is what it is. They like if they don't understand and what like marketing and sales are and free publicity, it's and that I wouldn't include it on my own poll if I didn't want people, and then I wouldn't promote please retire on the poll after putting it out if I didn't want people to vote for it. The fact that that is just not recognized is, I think, kind of what is dangerous, and probably why we should have rules and restrictions for negative marks on reproducing, because it is full blown idiocracy, and it is what it is. But any chance at all, if you know me, you know. And so I'm just saying, they tried. They don't understand. They give attention regardless, and attention helps me with my business. So because those people were never going to be fans anyways, but the good ones see me. Oh yeah, they're not missing brain cells. Okay. The IQ is horrible, and I think we all know. Have a conversation with me, and then just go look at the profile pictures of all of them, and I think it's pretty evident. And but there's a lot of them, and they group together, so then they think, because they think the same way, that they're right, and it's an unfortunate thing. And it's like, no, little Billy, you're just dumb as shit, and like just move along. So Thank you very much, Kevin. Yeah, the Dr. Thomas O'Connor, man, the anabolic doc. I think everybody should give him a follow. All the men. Um, he's a great guy. Very so knowledgeable on all this stuff. No, no, my knees have been great. I've been lucky on all that. Like I feel great. And I do that 1, 2, 3 muscle joint tendon formula. I've been taking that for years. I really think that really, really has helped. And I think that's why I don't feel the arthritic symptoms I have necessarily in my joint, um, like pain wise with any of that. So yeah, and I like the Bell Life guys. I'm not really. I don't care for that the crazy videos and stuff right now. I run a business. I enjoy talking like this and like in making money with my business and getting healthy and get back and train and see how I can incorporate wrestling back into everything with where everything's going. I'm so happy though, but like I'm not like about. I don't need to like get hit with wires and do ridiculous things. That's why I toned it down on the videos. I didn't like. That's why I enjoy just doing the vegan videos because I feel like I'm promoting something far healthier than what I was doing. Even though it was like cheat meals and like it was just too much. Though even the once a week, even doing, I remember doing them and doing some of those big calorie meals, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. And that's when I knew it was like, okay, don't do it. It's not worth it. And it wasn't. So I think a lot of people get in the habit. It's like the chugs guy, like man, and I think that guy is it's incredible what he can do. But I mean, he's chugging so much shoulder. I mean, and this isn't he's not going to be around very long. It's inevitable. But as long as he's happy, he's doing what he wants. But I just don't think it's wise. Like I want to live a long, healthy life, which is why I've worked so hard to get my health back at this age. What many would call your prime years. I think the prime years for me are going to be now 39, I think, honestly, into closer to 50 with a lot of the changes I've made. So, and the hot stuff, yeah, I stopped doing the hot stuff. I think it's just far. I think after looking into it, seeing, I go, there's no way this could possibly be healthy because I would feel my stomach swell up internally. I go, okay, this is a game I don't want to play, you know? And I remember when I got really, really bad on the peanuts early on and the dogs, like and I take care of Sophie, like, and she was still not in like nowhere near like what she is now. And I go, oh, that was pretty irresponsible, even though I did it. I mean, it's not like getting hammered or doing drugs. But I was like, if I would have had to like, get rushed off to the emergency center, so I go, it's not worth it. Yeah, it ruins your whole day. Those other people, that's all they do. I could do this stuff, but I got stuff to do, so it doesn't really fit in. And I've already proved I can do the hottest things in the world. So I'm like, where's the end game? Like die? I don't know. Death? What's the end game? We do ship to Ireland on Feed Me More Nutrition. Yes, we have a $34.99 flat rate shipping worldwide, $19.99 to Canada. So I would say to people, and that's a very good rate, and we eat the cost on it, is just save up and put in a bigger order if you can, and you'll save on the shipping. Because normally when you would do that, the shipping could be like 70, 80, 90, $100. You're only paying $34.99. We're paying the difference on that rather than just order one thing, and then $34.99 might seem expensive, right? So I just say if you're international, just wait and save up, buy a few things, and make the shipping worth it for you. Thank you very much. Oh, TGI Fridays, Justin has a plant-based burger. Ah, Justin, you're giving me new videos, my man. There's a TGI Fridays not far from me, here where I'm at in Vegas. So that might have to be the new video because it will be relevant on as far as current new products for vegans. I feel like people that are visiting Vegas find that channel. It's becoming a vegan food channel for Vegas. Food places here have messaged me and actually want me to come do crazy mukbangs of like eating all the food. I go, guys, look, like I'm in like good shape right now. I'm trying to get in even better shape. I can't be coming in and eating 3,000, 5,000 calories. I'm just like, I'm not into it anymore. I don't think that's healthy. And regardless, maybe once in a blue moon, but even then, I just go, why? Why? Life is good. I feel so good. So I'll be drinking like what times? Good question, Sammy. He asked, what times and how often do you drink protein shakes? So drinking one after post workout is oftentimes recommended. I like to do real food these days after my workout. The way I time it, I'll usually do my shakes, a shake for lunch with the pistachios, and then oftentimes a shake before bed as well for me if I don't feel like eating. So I'm doing 1 to 2 shakes a day on that. And so it's all, but some people like to take them right after their workout. They don't have time to cook. With my current schedule, I'm able to cook a little more with the way being home. So if I was on the road and things, that protein would be used a little more, where it would probably make up a little more of my protein content, especially if I couldn't get other foods. And then I'd probably and mix it with some mixed nuts or grab a salad here or some vegetables there, like at the airport, and then have a shake and things of that nature. But with my schedule the way that it is, it's pretty convenient on getting in really good nutrition all throughout the day. So I'm getting anywhere from 80 to 160 grams of the plant protein a day. I'm so poggers. Is that play of the game? I'm a big fan of the pog. Very pog. Very pog. I love you guys too. Thank you very much. No, I did not get the COVID vaccine, and I fully support people that want to, but um, I've not been sick in over 8 years. I've passed multiple COVID tests, and I think uh, I think there's better ways. And I'm a big fan of. I've not had a lot of vaccines or anything my entire life, and I've rarely ever gotten sick. Uh, and there were a couple times younger from traveling, but that's when I created the immune support. And like I said, it's been well over 8 years now. So I'm not really. I don't. And the way my diet and all the fruits and vegetables, I think building a strong immune system is the number one defense. We managed to survive for a long time, but I think they can be very beneficial to a certain portion of the population. And if that's what is required to get the world operating, because we're only as good as our weakest link, and unfortunately, there's a lot of unhealthy people, then let them do whatever they need to do. I try to think, though, in a rational way with common sense as much as possible. Why would I take that risk? Don't. For me, it would make no sense. Good to see all of you. Thank you, guys. Hello, everyone. Instagram, TikTok, thank you for joining us for this Tuesday Feed Me More Nutrition Live. My friend from Brazil. Hello, buddy. Yeah, the deadlift is a very good movement. I think, though, the deadlift can be, and I've heard other people, certain power lifters have actually said they think it can, unless you're a power lifter where you're doing it for a competition and making money, that it's very, that it's not good. I think with proper form, it's very effective. I think the deadlift, though, I do think um, that you run the risk when you start getting into serious weights. And I know that you just increase your chances of getting hurt because it is of the movement. I think it's one of those things. I think the movement is great, but and I look at it, I go, is that one of those things we're better off just sticking at a lightweight and for high reps? And you know, And because you look at all powerlifters, there's only so long you could lift heavy, right? And there's going to come an end point to that as you get older. So it's a fine line of and you see a lot of the elite guys that were elite powerlifters, they're shot when they're done. So it's tough. And you look and you go, obviously, I think a lot of steroids played in being far stronger than they naturally were. I think that's actually probably even a bigger problem with it. And guys like Ronnie Coleman, even, that's what you saw. He was so far past his natural strength, just rip your body apart. And that's a fact. You can't argue it. And that doesn't take away from like the work ethic or anything, but you just go so far past that you're causing irreversible damage. But I do think that it's like one of those movements, like, unless you're making money in a powerlifting meet, are you better off? And I've talked about this for wrestling with me. Am I better off just repping out 400, 500, 550, whatever it is? Am I better off sticking around that range and just being really strong still? And especially in a drug tested sport and entertainment where the majority of the guys are smaller anyways, and then just having fantastic endurance with it, which is rare for big guys, or try to max out and then just risk getting injured. And, and that's where I incorporate. And don't get me wrong, I still throw some weight on here and there, but it's much more calculated with that. But I don't think I think if you deadlift, you stick into, it depends on who you are. But if I stayed at 315 pounds for the rest of my life, I'm going to get the benefits of the movement still. But if I just go for really high reps and with controlled form, I think that's safer than pushing it consistently 600-700 to try and 800, God knows. You know what I'm saying? I think that could really put a lot of strain on your body, especially wrestlers, with what you do to yourself. Yeah, Gray, it's one of the most concerning things that I've talked about with the World Health Organization and all the local news and all the major news outlets. Every single day should be a nutrition reminder on what people need to be taking: vitamin D, zinc, immune system boosters. Include those ingredients with the vitamin C, the echinacea, the allicin in garlic, which is brilliant for keeping your immune system strong. And then including what fruits and vegetables are really, really good for what antioxidants and what micronutrients, that people would be able to go out and buy these things and would help our cause, but that does not benefit them. And that is where this has become really, really, I think, conflicting for a lot of people, because this is just an obvious fact that this should be doing whatever we're doing. We should be promoting things to increase our immune system naturally. And it's really, really bothersome that we're not. This is the world we live in, unfortunately, though. But in this day and age, the people that understand, that are awakened to what's going on, can seek out knowledgeable people and other people that get it and get the information that we need. We're never going to be able to convince the masses of and this is just being just straight up, as I always am. What do you think is more logical? What's a more logical scenario? Do you think a more logical scenario of promoting that stuff and people going out and buying fruits and vegetables and taking those every day and taking immune system boosters? Or do you think people want to stick to what they're doing, stay lazy, and just go get a shot? And so I think that is played, and that story is told long enough, and here we are. And that's just the way that it is. I talked to a girl, told you guys, she was, her own words, overweight and unhealthy. And she was big believer in the restrictions and the lockdowns. And I'll get to this super chat here too. She's very pro-vaccination. She's already got it. She didn't change her diet in any of this. She didn't follow the restrictions of the lockdown, she said, but she's pro-lockdowns, and she has not been affected financially. I think it's a large portion of people like that. And I could just see in her mentality, Because why change? That's not why do what's good for me when I could do that? And it's your life. You do what you want, but like I said, someone like that, pro restrictions, but she doesn't follow it. How many people are doing that? That's where I kind of say this gets silly. Keep people in that need to stay in, that want to stay in, and let the rest of the world operate. Because I think the majority of us are just ready to go. And if you take care of yourself, you're not worried about this. And I talk to people all the time, and anybody I see that is of any common sense, they all think the same way. So not to say that everyone's going to think like that, but I just think the world needs to get going. Jake says, update officially over COVID. Thanks for the kind words, Ryback, while I was going through it. Real MVP. Buddy, good to have you back. Glad that you're healthy. And hopefully this is something that we could all move past eventually and get on with living life without fear. Is milk good for my body? Research would say no. And a lot of, I would say you're far better off drinking a cashew milk and oat milk. There's almond milk. There's really, really good, the almond milk from the store, the vanilla sweetened one. If I ever get it, I'll have that. I think it tastes far better than milk. But everyone has their own theories on that. I think once you look at the animal, the factory farming, and then the cattle industry, and what's going on with the raping of the cows, and if you actually look into that process, most people will be like, oh, what am I doing? Why? And there's all these other better options out there that doesn't cause that. So yeah, I would say personally stay away from it. And the inflammation, it causes massive inflammation. Ricky Scurvy, my man. Would I recommend a cheap Amazon testosterone booster for $20? No. And you're going to see a lot of them on there. They may be bestsellers because the majority of people are going to go on there. And this is why. So I'm just going to share this with you. Why do you think the majority of people hear testosterone booster and have a very negative association with it? They get upset. They go, oh, that's bullshit. That's snake oil. You want to know why? Because the majority don't work. You want to know why the majority don't work? Because they're only charging $20 for it. Because they're companies that they put that on the label, and these are snake oil companies. They don't put any of the ingredients they actually need. They'll put one little thing in there, maybe some horny goat weed or something, so you feel like you're maybe it feels like your libido, a little kick into that, but you're not actually getting the testosterone boosting effects. And that is why, trust me, I went through all this when I was younger. This is all through trial and error in looking at supplement companies and going, why doesn't this stuff work? I've lost a lot of money over the years. And that was why, and that's why our formula, that particular formula's a lot more than all the other testosterone boosters out there. And I just tell you, go look at the label. And ours is actually blood test proven to work. It's an unfortunate thing. And then oftentimes people will try that $20 bottle, right? And oh, this sucks. This doesn't work, because it doesn't. And then they stereotype everything in that category forever. And then they go, and then you got a company, the other end of it, like the Nugenics, total scam artist on this. I can tell you from their label, right? Great marketers, fantastic marketing, brilliant marketing, right? Having Frank Thomas on TV with it. They overcharge considerably. They probably pay like $2 or $3 to make their formula, because it's ridiculous. And then they're charging 70, 80, 90, 100 something dollars for this. And that's where then you have mine, that is just a superior formula to that. And I charge a very fair, reasonable price at $49.99. But that's why we have a very high customer return rate and success rate, because people will take it and actually not only feel it. We've had people, and they go get blood work and they see the results and see, oh my God, this actually works. So, and it's grown, and it's one of our best sellers as well, with the Shell Shock on that, because it actually works. Shell Shock does better though, because we could sell that to men and women, whereas the big guys primarily only for men. But I would, I wish I could market that a little better. We're very limited with our marketing online now with making claims because a lot of these products don't work with other companies. So we're not allowed to like put a product out unless I put it on my social, but like actual marketing and stuff, we're not allowed to make claims like fat loss or testosterone booster. They're not allowed anymore. So it makes it really hard to have creative marketing, but I should, I probably should. I need to talk to Phoenix about this. I should look into getting the big guy marketing on the porn sites because it would do very, very well with that on there. And we would be allowed to actually promote what the supplement does. And I feel like the guys that are using it would actually get the benefits that they wanted. And we would have a very, very high return on ad spend on there. So that is something I need to look into because it is. And I probably should look into this on some other things because we're limited. That's why if you see, I do a lot of just the hungry branding on social media on our marketing without making any claims because the whole industry has been impacted on that, on what you could do. So thank you, because that has sparked an idea for me that I think is going to be very beneficial. Yep, we have the dim and the black pepper extract in there for the big guy. We literally give you everything. I'm a big believer of over delivering in everything. Porn is beyond lucrative. It is, but I got it. I'm gonna actually message Phoenix right after this and have her get me in touch with the browsers people and see because and then I'll get Phoenix to record a video for me. Super chat with late night. What's your thoughts on daily probiotic? I think it can be very good for your gut and for digestion and gut health. And I think if you have a diverse diet, it might not be needed, but you might have a medical condition. It's certainly not going to hurt you having a probiotic in your diet at all. So something like that, if you can afford it, I'd say throw it in. Hawaii, hello. Good question. Does your GTS go to sleep natural sleep formula get you through 8 hours uninterrupted sleep? Because I got to wake up in the middle of the night twice to take a piss. So that I can't promise you that. I don't know. It depends on. So there's multiple things. It depends how much water you're drinking before bed. Second, if you're not drinking a lot of water before bed, there's a very good chance you have sleep apnea then. And sleep apnea, because I have it, and I have to wear the machine because I'm freaking jacked, and I do the neck machine every day, and the price I pay for not having concussions, but I have sleep apnea, which I had actually snoring as a kid. They found so the you could have sleep apnea though, and that could be something that if you get the sleep apnea checked, you may be able to sleep uninterrupted and not wake up in the middle of the night. I hardly wake up anymore unless I drink a ton of water before bed, which sometimes I do, and where I'll wake up once. But I used to wake up 4, 5, 6 times sleeping. No, this is no joke. And piss because it's one of the side effects of sleep apnea. It's your body, in a way, in panic mode to wake you up because you're not getting enough oxygen. So. But the GTS, I'm telling you, the GTS is a beautiful supplement, and it has a full ZMA supplement in it as well. I think if you take that an hour before bed, you're going to be very, very happy. The quality of the sleep you get on that is really, really good. That was created out of a necessity for me on the road. Super chats here. Enjoy this. Ex Benedict says, enjoy this $10 donation. I like your videos that you do with the feeding time and your stories. Thank you very much, buddy. That is greatly, greatly appreciated, and I have a good time doing them for you guys. Thank you. Another super chat here, CTC787. Hi, Ryback. Are you done podcasting? Yeah, for the time being, this is the podcast. This is everything focused on the supplements and the branding of all of this. Is I enjoy this, and quite frankly, in the amount of time I spend on my shoulder and running, Feed Me More Nutrition, a lot of the things that we're doing, I just getting guests is something that I'm not a fan of, and it just ran its course with me, and it just had some. It was, I think, just very frustrating, and I wasn't. And then the internet stuff happened, and it just was kind of a blessing in disguise. And I think just distancing from like the wrestling talk, I don't read the dirt sheets. I don't like to even, and that was like every week just reminding me. And I think the show was overwhelmingly positive for the most part. And I think obviously people appreciated it and the insight. I don't think it was good anymore with everything. And like my goal when I go back to wrestling, I don't really intend to really be involved with the wrestling bubble. And that's not any disrespect. I just think I really focused on what I'm doing and being happy. And I think this is superior to all that. In the ring, you'll get everything I got, like I always did, and go all out. But I need my life. In talking about stuff like that, you're giving opinions on stuff you don't even like. I quite frankly don't care about. That's all he said, she said, or this and that. And regardless of being positive, it just wasn't beneficial for me. Yeah, the CPAP, you got to have the right mask. I do the full face mask. And I remember when I first had to wear that, I panicked a bit and took it off in the middle of the night a few times. And it was really, I would say maybe the first few weeks. I remember being on the road, I had to travel one. That was where I learned to use it. And eventually it becomes such a level of comfort. I love wearing that mask now. It's like a sense of peace when it's on. Will GTS fix my nighttime wood? It's probably going to enhance that with the ZMA supplement in it, and increasing your REM sleep. Your little buddy is going to be running wild throughout the night. Yeah, these are more fun for me, anyways, in this kind of stuff, and I don't have to worry about scheduling people, and people will cancel, and I'm busy, and like it just became it was becoming a burden and a stress that I quite frankly I don't need the revenue from it. I was okay just doing this, if that makes sense. It's not to say that down the road, I think if that was all I had going on, I think it would be far more enjoyable. The problem is I do a lot, and I really stretched myself thin for a long time, and I needed to with my injuries. Because it was a waiting game on a lot of things, but with running the supplements, I stayed so busy, I didn't have time to worry about like my like my health at the point, because I want to get back, and like whereas now the priorities have changed, and we've got like the healing has taken place, and now it's like a lot of doing the work stuff. So sleep apnea, most likely for me, is due to my neck size. Always has been for the most part. But I've snored since I was a kid. Uh, Parents had videos of me I mean, at a very young age. So, but my neck has been on the larger side since I started doing the neck machine in my teenage years. So yeah, I just didn't want to be involved anymore. It was, and I actually stayed away from wrestling for quite a while on the regular show for early on after the initial period, a couple of years of the show, more once Phoenix got on, and then went back. And but I think the wrestling industry, and you see it in MMA and all that, it's a very toxic environment of people. See, I never did it where it was like, oh, I'm going to make money gossiping about. And if you ever listen to the show, I don't think anyone got that vibe, but people would still take things out of context. I just think it's just such an unhealthy environment that caters to the lowest denominator on that. And I'm just like, it's just do my thing, work really hard, and live my life and do what I'm passionate about. And because you're just getting caught up in a bunch of BS that doesn't matter. But some people, that's all they have. luckily for me, I have a lot more than that. So, you know, what is my view on prescription medications? I know some are definitely needed, but a good diet and exercise could fix a lot of people's problems. I agree with that statement. I think medicine is obviously there's definitely a need for it in certain situations. I do think though oftentimes uh, doctors and things, and I've experienced this actually, where they'll go like, "Oh, you need to be on a statin." I had a doctor tell me that with my cholesterol, and I said, "But my ratios," and I'd done some reading. My ratios were actually really were in the normal range and good. Um, and nothing was actually off yet to a degree where it would require going on statins. But he was so hell bent on wanting to prescribe the statins, and then I remember once I went vegetarian and then made some more changes and went vegan. Like everything's just it's beautiful. So that was the solution, and a lot of people will just do the drug, and a lot of people too, and doctors, there are a lot of them that are very educated on nutrition, a lot that aren't, that will say, well, like, well, we got a couple options here. You could like change nothing in your life and take this pill, or you could eat more fruits and vegetables and cut down on like your animal consumption. Majority of people aren't willing to make that trade, and that pill has a lot of other side effects too. So those statin drugs will cause erectile dysfunction in a lot of men too. It's like if you're okay having that, cool, I'm not. But there are other things, you know. I've seen people with diabetes and they fix their diet and they make some changes and they get off of insulin and things. But again, there's various levels of all of this and things where some people can't, and right. So I'm not like I just think sometimes we don't give people the full understanding of that we do have other alternatives that are much better for long term, but everything has its place, I would say. Oh, thank you, Austin. Yeah, and I wasn't like ever miserable. I just think it's not beneficial with all of that. And I know I got my trademark going on. I'm winning the Ryback trademark from WWE. They're going to lose it unless they've somehow some miracle on their end. But as I just want it all done with, and that's the last piece. I've won everything else. I got everything else, and then I'll deal with the social media aspect of things once I'm back. And I've already kind of have that game plan figured out because I'm afraid I also don't know how much financially that's going to cost to get inside to some of these companies and do this. But I think with the right connections, it's going to be a fairly simple process. So that's kind of going to be the next play with everything. If you've had high blood pressure since the age of 18 and you're 22, what I would do is Google. There's so many fruits and vegetables that are good at lowering blood pressure, and it's one of those things. Start incorporating those foods into your diet, and go get blood work, or go get your blood pressure tested, or find one of the stores that has the cuff, and every month go check yourself and see if you're noticing an improvement. That I would you'd get, and not to say you don't change anything, just add those to your diet and see. The only way things change is if we make an effort, but we got to learn what we need to change first. And that information, we live in a day and age, guys, where we could all find the right information if we look hard enough. I'm not the most scientific where I'm going to be able to give you guys the exact explanations on a lot of things, but I can give you a basic outline on my mindset of what I do that helps me in my life find the information that I can apply and do. There's much better people that will give you that can quote research studies and things like that. I'm a big believer that I think studies can be great at times. But I think there's so much misinformation too in studies that are funded to get a certain result, that there's no better study than the study that we do on ourselves. And I've always been self-aware in that, and trial and error and learning and getting lab work and doing, okay, 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 this isn't working anymore. What can I do? And that's kind of here. My diet, I never would have thought I would be vegan. I think I might be the last person anybody would say would be vegan, especially if you would poll WWE guys from my time there. I would walk around eating piles of meat and chicken all the time. Big Show would routinely see me and just go, "How do you eat all that?" Like I was always, just because I would work out so hard, but that was all I would eat. I would just eat the protein. I would eat vegetables and different things here and there, nowhere at the level I was now with that. But like with my injuries and then all the stem cells and then learning about fasting for the stem cells, it was out of necessity. I needed to make changes. And then learning when I about the diet and then vegetarian and then learning the vegetarian with the inflammation with all the milk, dairy, and cheese and all that, that if I would eliminate that, I was told my inflammation would go away. And it turns out they were being exactly 100% honest with me. So that's why I'm so passionate about this. Is I've actually seen the change and seen, and I think mentally too, with all that diet too, you see such a positive effect on your mood, and I've always been positive, but I feel a sense of peace that I don't know I've ever felt before, and that's a powerful thing. And I really think it's because I was eating so much death before, and all the cortisol and the fear, and eliminating that. And I feel like every month it just get better and better and better. So, and it's not to say I get angry over things. Oh, do I get angry? I hear something because I'm a big believer. Oh, I'd like to beat the shit out of some people. Trust me. Take a breath, move on. Fuck them. These people are not beneficial. These people, I try now to get offended at myself if I get mad at somebody for even my energy, even taking it away from being so happy. I'm like, fuck me for looking at that comment. Why? And then block and go be happy. But I like just try. That's where I'm a big believer too. And like with social and controlling your environment, I was like, eventually just the content, and don't even have to get on there, even though you want to get on there to interact with the good people. But I eventually want a team of like 500 people where blocks, not that we would need one person, where I was like, hey, Ricky, I want to make sure that now that you're running every social media account for free and all of this, no matter how much money I'm making, that there's never a mean, hateful comment for no reason on there. And because he's pretty good at recognizing those on here. And then where my Twitter experience is just beautiful all the time. And then if somebody does sneak one through, I could send Ricky like, what the fuck is going on over here, man? You doing your job or what? Not aware of any ill effects from TRT. I think if you are, everything with that is very safe. And I think too, especially in the normal ranges. And I think some people take much higher TRT dosages than they need. I think the TRT can be dangerous when you add in the things like Arimidex for estrogen. I think those are very dangerous and can have other serious implications. I've never needed them. And I don't like it with like a lot of doctors will put people on too high of a dosage of HCG, which spikes estrogen really, really badly. Where they found that like around the 250, 300 IUs twice a week on that for your testicles will not to keep your nuts essentially functioning properly on that, where you get into it many times have kids still and things of that nature. But you're not taking the massive dosage of it and getting a surge of estrogen essentially in the conversion of that. So no, I had the sleep apnea. I think is not a thing. Is my weight? I don't think you guys understand. Like my structure. Like if I just stopped lifting, I kind of like hover around. Like if I just stopped lifting, like the work it would take to get down to 260 would be like I do a lot of conditioning in my diet. I'm not like going crazy. It's pretty. I stay like in the 270s pretty easy. I mean, like without even trying. So like as far as like if I'm taking time off and stuff, it would take a bit. It would take like probably no lifting for a very long time, and muscle mass would have to just decrease. I'd be so depressed. I'm waiting. I know there's a surgery they could do for your throat. They told me about it years ago when I got my nose fixed, and they actually wanted to do both at the same time. The hospital wouldn't let them because I would have had to been on a breathing machine, which I thanked them for letting me know that the doctor was trying to get a double surgery. And they said it was actually, if anything went wrong, there were actually pretty serious implications that I could die because my nose would be swollen and my throat would be swollen. And I said, yeah, let's just do the nose and I'll go home that day. And I'll just keep wearing my little CPAP machine. And but the throat surgery, I feel like eventually they're going to have a very, very effective surgery. That's going to be even less invasive than the current one. And then I'll look into it. But I just tell like chicks, it's my Bane mask. I've never, I do all right. I've never had anybody like, well, I can't see you because of that mask. I don't know if you've noticed or not. I have got a pretty good gift of gab, and I'm usually okay making fun of myself. And so it doesn't affect my life in a negative way at all. And it's actually great for when you don't want to cuddle and because you can't with the mask, so you can just go to bed. So it's actually pretty necessary. Good to see all of you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What milk would I recommend that would go best with the caramel cookie plant protein? I've been taking it with almond milk, which is great. Just wondering. I love the almond milk. The vanilla sweetened almond milk is my favorite. I don't know if you can get better than that. I've not had a lot of the other milks though, so I don't know. I just know that the store or whatever I would get has the almond milk, and I think they got cashew milk, and those are probably all pretty similar, I would imagine. Thank you very much, Walter. I always ask people not to believe everything you read. I think if you follow me and see enough, you kind of can get an understanding of me, and which is most of the people that know me in wrestling, which is why I'm not overly worried like with the way things happen because all the right people know me and have enough of a good enough relationship with me where we just laugh and they're like, I mean, look at the world we live in. Got people. I saw Tom Brady did the tweet today, right? With the guy, the guy that lost the bet that had to wear the Brady jersey and said sometimes words are louder than actions, and then Tom goes, no, actions speak louder than words always. And in reference to Patrick Mahomes and whatnot. But I saw so many, I want to just see this. The amount of hate that in people of like legitimately, I mean, blows away whatever people will say to me, to Tom, like you're just as far as like they'll talk about certain games, they'll bring up games where he didn't play as well, maybe, and things. And like, I mean, some hurtful comments on there. Like I read, I goes, man, that's really shitty. And I block those people on that just so I never have to ever encounter them ever in my life because of their mindset. But I was like, there's just so much hate and negativity in people with things. But I was just like, God, if you know. Tom is like funny, like hardworking dude, just most Super Bowl wins ever. Like, what is there like not to like? But I don't know. I just think gets hammered with his team. Man, that to me, that guy is number one in so many areas. A man's man. Sense of humor, plant-based. I want to get drunk with Tom. I want to get drunk with Tom and just read mean tweets. Yeah, all the people that complain, they have single-digit followers usually, and then if you click on their pictures, it's usually the Terrence and Phillip face. And this isn't like making fun of, but it is because they're horrible human beings, just spreading hate and negativity. But they've chosen that life through their mindset, and that's why I don't have time for it. Easy on those Zevias, Tim. You're a little behind today. Yesterday you were at 8 of them though. More water, Tim, more water. Cut those down to 2 or 3 a day. Yeah, that's why I tell people the hate and negativity, guys, is always going to exist, regardless of. That's why we're just do what we love and live our lives. The hate's always going to be there. You're going to hear people, and when I go back, they're gonna talk shit talk even more. They're gonna try to come up with more things. They're gonna try to just do whatever they can. Nobody like that with that mindset's gonna go, man, this guy overcame a 5-disc fusion and shoulder replacement and did things his way. Walked out, literally said F you, walked out, started his own supplement company, turned it into a huge deal, wrote a motivational book, did multiple podcasts, healed his dog of 8 ruptured disc in that time on top of his injuries, and comes back at the highest level better than ever. Do you think anybody's going to acknowledge that story on that section of the crowd? Never. Never. That's why they don't acknowledge it now. If you ever notice, they'll do too on the, oh, he's just doing ASMR videos. Is that what you've gotten out of all this? Oh, that's good for your story, though, to get a few laughs, right? Because that's the perception they want. What do? I just keep doing what I'm doing. And we will all laugh together, I promise, and be smiling. Yeah, the Pumplexity and the BCAAs can be blended as well. And eventually, I hopefully have all matching flavors for you guys on all that. So where I like the flavor, like I love doing the cotton candy and the raspberry lemonade finish BCAAs. I love that combination together. I'll do a scoop of each oftentimes. This is just cotton candy right now. But I love that combination on that. I can't wait to do when we do the strawberry banana here for that. You guys are really, really going to dig the strawberry banana. Yeah, surrounding ourselves with positive energy will change our lives. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with that statement anymore. I'm a big believer the food we put in our body, the energy we put in our body, whether through food and beverage, and in the people we surround ourselves with. And that's why oftentimes I've always kept a smaller circle, always. I get my information from books and people that are doing the things that I want to do, that I see have had success in life. And I try to follow that. And then also hot chicks online. That's always a given. Happy. Black coffee from Starbucks. Follow hot chicks on social media and positive people. And happiness. Maybe not going to be happiness once I get married, but hopefully find a chick that's understanding to that. Thank you very much, Austin. And it's all we could, just doing my best, man. You know, this is definitely, the story on this is going to be pretty incredible. But I thank you guys for helping me. Without you guys, with all of this isn't successful. So, and it's every day. It's every day. And that's why I have like the poster back here, the little thing. Success is never owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every day. And then I got my stuff upstairs in my office, and I got things all over as I remind myself, and like I can't get complacent on any of this. That's why I can go get drunk and eat chips and salsa all day if I wanted. It's not going to help. It's going to take me away from what I'm trying to come back and do. So I've stayed, like I haven't gone on vacations this whole time. I haven't gone and traveled before COVID or anything. I've literally been hunkered down in overcoming something that's never been done before. And it's been done through a positive attitude and hard work and being consistent. And that's how I have the formula that has helped me in everything in my life. I can't control certain circumstances and other things, but I have a formula that works. And sometimes you have to be very patient with that formula, but it always works. And in that formula, I've also learned, I learned how to be happy and not get attached to my happiness with the goal. I learned a very hard lesson with that in wrestling. I had my happiness attached to a goal, and I learned it in the hardest way possible. And it took and all that to where I've found happiness is now, and that's why I'm at peace. And I think that's why I think I've opened myself up to much more success on that. And that's why too, like I don't get too caught up with people. Like if say I can never go back to wrestling ever again, I'm grateful for everything that I got to achieve. I got to do more than the majority of people that are even in the business will ever get to do. Main evented and closed out shows for a year in a top position. I mean, that championship or not, I mean, that had the ball running and delivered that alone. And I can't control the other things, you know? So, and I could do that at any given point in time. And I have that confidence in me because I've already done it. So, but I just try to kind of take this stuff that has helped me and apply it. And I've learned some really cool things in this time. The book, Wake Up, It's Feeding Time. It's on Amazon in paperback, Audible, and Kindle formats. I got it actually over there. I know you can't see the cameras going this way. And it's essentially it's not a book about wrestling. It's a motivational book. It's kind of like the format of the book is like a chicken soup for the soul, where there's a lot of essentially topics, in there. And I kind of explained it best. It's where it's an introduction into the world of motivation and positivity that I think is going to lead you down a positive road of learning in life that has helped me. And I wanted to write that book for wrestling fans because of like a lot of the hate and negativity. And I think a lot of times, and I joke around with a lot of them, they're suffering, though they come from broken families. It's not good, right? And I've seen it enough. And they don't have guidance and they don't have any help. And so I wanted to put out a book that hopefully they would buy. And you're never gonna get appease all the people, but where they could make some positive changes. And when I left in the first 2 years, I did the indies and I would do some signings. I had people come up and tell me, and multiple people lost hundreds of pounds from reading the book, and it led them down the path that I was hoping it would, and people mindset stuff. So that was my reason for writing that book, and I wanted to write a book, and I want to write more, and I'm going to. And it's something, it takes a lot of work to write a book though. And I don't want to write another one until I'm back on TV and I have control of my social media in a much better way. Super chat, Daddy Dog Abbott. Love the name, Daddy Dog Abbott. Forever love, big guy. Thank you. Oh, $100. That's go get an Asian massage with that. Thank you very much, Daddy Dog. I say Asian massage, I mean my shoulder therapist that I see once a week. And my Thai angel, I'm actually getting a portrait done of her and hanging it up in my house. And I'm literally getting her as an angel. It's ridiculous. This is my sense of humor, though. I told her about this the other day. She was in tears laughing. Her name's Wasana. And I go, I'm really getting, you fixed my shoulder. I go, you're an Asian angel. And I'm getting her with like wings and like probably like massaging a shoulder on the portrait. Thank you very much, bud. Minnie, if you're currently overweight, you need to look up a basal metabolic rate calculator online, see how many calories you need a day. And then what you essentially do is you start going 250, 300. If you could do 500, start doing smaller increments. So for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. And you got to start counting your calories, unfortunately, at this stage of the game. Unless you're just doing, if you don't do this, you're going into unknown territory. People that have been doing it, that know their bodies much better, can navigate the waters a little better. You need to get the diet on track, though. Whatever your diet is, I'm gonna tell you to look into going plant-based as much as possible with that, and consuming as many micronutrient dense foods, antioxidant rich foods as possible with that, and increase your physical activity. And don't get caught up in what everybody else is doing. I will tell you my approach to this. If you gave me a 300-pound body, I'm nearly 300 pounds. If you gave me a 400-pound overweight body right now, I just was in that body, I would go, okay, this sucks. Probably cry for a little bit, pull the pants down, take a look. And then I'd go, okay. I'd map out a game plan. I go, I'm going to start doing this, and I'm going to repeat this over and over and over again. I'm going to do as much cardio and conditioning as I can. I'm going to consume this many calories, and I'm going to do this for as long as I can and monitor my progress. And I'm going to say in a year, and I'm going to see whatever, in a year from now, I'm going to be down to 200 pounds or 250 pounds. And I would make those assessments as I go along, and whatever my schedule was on continuing to increase that to get the result that I wanted. And I would get my body in shape and over time. And I wouldn't get caught up and looking like, man, those guys are all in shape. I would just repeat the actions that I knew I needed to do to get what I wanted. And that's what you got to do, essentially, in your own way. Yeah, I've done some breathing exercises. I think breathing is good for like when you're like just relaxing and meditating and focusing on your breath. Like when I'm doing like my conditioning and stuff like that, though, I think, and I've learned this through other things, our subconscious in our body is so good. You don't want, like when you're doing hard conditioning, you don't want to be thinking about your breathing too much, because what it does is then it puts the attention on don't get tired, don't get tired. What happens? You get tired. And I've learned that when you just like do the work, let your body take care of itself. But I think deep breathing and different things are very beneficial in a meditative setting and relaxing and focusing on your breath of that nature. Great for stress relief as well. There's no right or wrong routine on any of that. I've heard like there are people like, you got to take 7 deep breaths and hold them for 15 seconds. And I'm like, no, you could do 3 and actually be okay. If you know 3 helps you and you're not stressed out anymore. And I do that. If I get a situation and I get angry and my blood is boiling, whatever the source is, the first thing I try to do is take a deep breath as quickly as possible. Sometimes I forget and I go into rage mode and I got to just, and I've learned that over the years and I've gotten better as time goes on that. But I never want that to go away though. I think anger is very, very, and being able to, you know what I'm saying, to turn it on is made me a lot of money. So I think though there's times where you need to have control over that as well. And I've learned that over the years. Is the keto diet overrated? It's hard on a vegetarian diet. Yeah, that was my so the keto diet was the worst I ever looked. It was the lowest my body weight ever got, and my body fat went up during that period. No coincidence. And I think a lot of the people that do lose a lot of weight on it, they're skinny fat still, and I think their bodies look like shit. And this is not the ones that are doing steroids. You'll see a lot of people that lose hundreds of pounds on keto. I think they still look horrible. And I'd be like, man, like, you can look way better. Like, and their stomachs look weird. And I've known fitness girls here that have tried it. And this happened to me. My side fat increased. My abs like went caved in more, and my waist looked worse. And I go, this is like not good. And so I think a more diverse plant-based diet, and you can keep your carbs very low on a plant-based diet still, very low. But everyone's going to have their own thing. I just think, and I've just I think eliminating whole food groups and things like that. Like, I don't know. I just think too the plant based diet, you get everything you could ever want on that. Yeah, and on the keto diet, it encourages. There's a way to do a healthier keto, and then there's ways where people are eating bacon and cheese and bacon wrapped in cheese and dipping it in ranch and you know drinking Papa John's garlic butter with their coffee, whatever the hell it is they do. Like I'm like, okay, cool. Like I just don't. We have the ISO Hungry caramel cookie plant powered protein. It's the first one on the shop now list at the top of the website now, and I will get some stacks listed also with the plant protein for you guys here in the coming weeks. I'll make a note of that. And to send that over to get some stacks included with that. And then we're going to be doing a chocolate flavor probably next on that one. Walter, this is really good to know. Your 1-2-3 joint supplement has worked wonders for me. My father just started it. Your wake up kicked my butt the first day. Took half a scoop and changed it up to a quarter. It works great. And thank you, Ryback. Yeah, not everybody needs the full scoop. And especially if you're more sensitive to caffeine and things like that, I would say even in doing that and then doing a full scoop of Pumplexity and just a little bit of the wake up with it. So you are getting the energy still, even though Pumplex will increase your aerobic and anaerobic output. I think for getting a little bit of the energy is still very beneficial. Like I love it. And I take it first thing every morning. But yeah, that's very good too in being aware and adjusting the dosage. Sometimes people will be like, oh, that's too much. It's like, no, we recommend starting with half a scoop for like most people. Even half a scoop is too much. So it's like, okay, let's try a quarter. Bingo, find your sweet spot. That bottle will last you 4 months, right? 3 months, 4 months, 3 months, depending on the exact. Yeah, should be 4 months, but probably 3. You'll like the Wake Up Unlimited Energy. We got pink lemonade, green apple, and mango candy. I actually got to order some more myself. I forgot to order it with my order that just came in. So I order off Amazon. Just pay for the stuff. I now prefer eating less often throughout the day. And this is coming from a guy that used to do like 8 to 10 meals a day with the shakes and everything. And I now do 3 to 4. And I'm like, I look back and I see, and like there's stories of like, and there's the OMAD diet, 1 meal a day, where people just eat all their calories in one sitting. Sometimes they're eating more junk doing that. So but I think a lot of that stuff, as long as you're getting your calories in, it can be very beneficial in other ways with that. I think I found for me a balanced routine. If 3 meals a day, I find to be very efficient. And now I look back and I question everything. I go, why did they start telling us that? And all the smaller meals a day, and then promoting all the devil's food cake stuff. I remember all that, and the sugars. Why? Because it makes I think it screws up with your insulin even more. I think the more time we give our body to rest, the better on these things, but with the balance. And I think 3 meals a day allows for great balance. Last question tonight, guys. I got to hop off. We did a little long tonight, but great questions. Any advice on how to build your weight training up when you're largely a beginner? Is it's going to just again come down to being consistent. This is in the secret to life is hard work, patience, and being consistent, repeating actions over and over and over again. My TikTok went out. Sorry about that, guys. The battery. But repeating these actions. So it's going to be um, finding different exercises online, applying those exercises, incorporating different rep ranges over a period of time, and seeing what works best for you. And I'm going to tell you, you can save yourself a lot of trouble. Whatever you're trying to do in your life, alter your training to that. If you're trying to be a power lifter, seek out other power lifters, find the routines. If you're trying to be a boxer, seek out boxing workouts and things that are going to make you be the best boxer in incorporating the physical activity, and then modify your workouts to that. It will save a lot of people a lot of trouble. If you have nothing and you're just doing it just to do, and more of a bodybuilding routine, then seek out educated training advice, not people all gassed up that don't have really any idea. And some do, right? But somebody that at least knows the training principles. And I'd say find somebody not on steroids, because they're going to understand what you need to do to recover, because they've experienced it. And that's what I would say to seek out and apply and be consistent over and over and over in small progress, baby steps. You curled 50 pounds this week. Let's try to get 55 next week for that same amount of rep ranges. Or if we come in a little lower, we stick at that until we get to that rep range, right? And then we go for 60. And either if you have to write things down or you make mental notes, but it's something like, when I go in and work out every week, I try to find a way to challenge myself on something and improve on, no matter what it is. This week, I know when I was doing the shoulder press again on the hammer strength, and since I've started increasing my weights after all the bioaccelerator stem cells, last week it was 3 plates. Or 2 weeks ago, sorry, it was 3 plates. And then it was 3 plates and a 10 on each side. And then it was 3 plates and 2 10s on each side for my final sets. And then this week it was 3 plates and a quarter on it. And I'll work my way back up to the 4 plates and hopefully be able to get the little 10s where they're going to be maxed out on there and probably fall off as I'm lifting. But that's what I do. And I get good results doing that. And I think if you just make baby steps and apply and be consistent, you'll get results. And this is a lifetime thing, man. You're in this for the long haul, right? So you can't lose. You just challenge yourself repeatedly. All right, guys, that wraps up tonight's session. take the dogs out on their little nightly walk as it's cooled off. And I got to make a plant-powered protein shake and a little air pop popcorn. And maybe I'll do a little Instagram little live of that video, little story. But thank you guys very much. Feed Me More Nutrition, feedmemore.com. We have the spin the wheel deal, 25. You could win prizes up to 35% off on that. And then you can save 25% off if you have not signed up for our text message and our weekly email. It's one message a week with big discounts, exclusive only on those. No spam, anything on that. And check out everything on feedmemore.com, guys. Thank you very, very much. As always, have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Feed me more.